Morning, everyone. Welcome back from a 3-day weekend. It is Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. It is 9 a.m. We're in conference room 309. We have a long agenda today, so I will ask testifiers to please restrict yourself to the 2-minute timeline for testimony. I will let you know when your time is up. First, we have HB 1509 relating to workers' compensation. First to testify on this measure, we have Director Tue Feb from DLIR with comments.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, Joanne Fidenhar, representing the department. We stand in support of the intention of the bill and respectfully request amendments. I'm available for questions. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Next, we have Director Brenna Hashimoto from DHERD with comments.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair. DHERD offered comments on this measure and also alternate language. We'll stand on our written testimony regarding the other issues, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Next, we have UPW in support.
Hello, Chair, Vice Chair. Kamakana Tamila, United Public Workers, you have a written testimony, strong support. UPW is one of the few, if not only, public sector unions that actually has a work comp program for the benefit of our members. However, I am not a subject matter expert, but would be happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on Zoom, we have Scott Miskovich from the Premier Medical Group Hawaii in support. Mr. Miskovich, are you there? Okay, we'll come back to you if you're having technical difficulties. Next, we have Kathy Wilson from Aloha Billing Company in support, in person.
Hello. Can you hear me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, hold on. Thank you for your testimony, Kathy. Mr. Miskovich, please. Go ahead. Okay, I think we're still having technical difficulties.
Thank you, Chair.
No, just a delay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to thank first Representative Scott Matsuyoshi for his leadership in putting a committee together that represented. Thank you.
Did he just log off? Okay. We'll come back to you if we have time. Any other persons here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, members, we do have written testimony with comments from Kohala Coast Resort Association, support from University of Hawaii Professional Assembly, opposition from Society of Human Resources Management Hawaii Chapter, comments from American Property Casualty Insurance Association, support from Premier Medical Group Hawaii, support from Work Injury and Medical Association of Hawaii, support from an individual, and comments from an individual. Members, any questions? Mr. Miskovich, are you there still? Okay, see. We'll be moving on to the next measure in the agenda then, HB 1514 relating to workers' compensation. First to testify, we have Director Tue Feb from DLIR in support.
Again, Joanne Fidenhar representing the department, and we have supported the intent of the bill and request amendments. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Next we have Director Hashimoto from DHERD in support.
DHERD will stand on its written testimony in support.
Thank you. Next we have Nancy Mondin, individual in opposition on Zoom. Ms. Mondin, are you there? Okay. We'll return to you if we have time on this agenda. Are there any other persons here to testify on this measure, 1514? Okay, seeing none, we do have written testimony and support from Hawaii Insurers Council, opposition from International Association of Rehabilitation's Professional Hawaii Chapter, support from UPA, opposition from Hawaii Rehabilitation Counseling Association, support from HMA, support from Work Injury Medical Association of Hawaii, comments from American Property Casualty, American Property Casualty Insurance Association, and 7 individuals in opposition, and 1 individual in support. Okay, any questions? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to HB 1515. This is relating to workers' compensation. First to testify, we have Director Butai from DLIR in support.
Good morning again, Joanne Vittenhard, the director, stands on his testimony in strong support of this measure. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Dr. Hashimoto from DHERD in support.
DHERD will stand on his written testimony in support.
Thank you. Any other persons here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, members, we do have written testimony and support from Hawaii Insurance Council, UPA, Hawaii Medical Association, American Property Casualty Insurance Association, Aloha Billing Company, Workers Injuries Medical Association of Hawaii, and an individual, all in support. Any questions on this measure? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to HB 1648 relating to workers' compensation. First, we have Dr. Butai from DLIR with comments.
Good morning, Joanne Vittenhard again from the department. We appreciate the intent of the measure to address excessive charges for non-prescription and over-the-counter drugs. At the same time, a blanket prohibition may unintentionally restrict medically appropriate care. So the department respectfully requests amendments to ensure both cost integrity and appropriate care for the injured worker. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Next, we have Dr. Hashimoto from DHERD with comments.
DHERD will stand on his written testimony providing comments and amendments.
Thank you. Next, we have Chris Katsuila from Solera Integrated Medical Solutions in opposition.
Yes, thank you, Chair and Vice Chair. We're in opposition to this bill because we believe it runs contrary to HRS 453-1, which licenses physicians and gives them, certain rights. In addition, I think it also conflicts with 38621. Basically, this bill would limit what physicians can prescribe, and specifically with OTC non-licensed drugs. These should all be available to the injured worker. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Scott Miskovich, Premier Medical Group Hawaii in opposition on Zoom.
Not present.
Okay. Next, we have Kathy Wilson from Aloha Billing Company with comments.
Hi, Chair. I'm Kathy Wilson. I'd like to stand on my testimony in support of the attack with amendments and recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other persons here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, we have written testimony in support from the Hawaii Insurers Council, American Property Casualty Insurance Association in support with amendments, and Work Injury Medical Association of Hawaii support with amendments as well. Any questions on this measure? Okay, seeing none, we'll be moving on to HB 2164 relating to workers' compensation. First, we have Dr. Butai from DLIR with comments.
Joanne Vittenhard standing in support of the measure, providing amendments. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Next, we have Dr. Hashimoto from DHERD in opposition.
DHERD will stand on its written testimony in opposition and offer amendments.
Thank you. We have Chris Katsuila from Solera Integrated Medical Association in opposition.
Thank you, Chair Sayama. We're in opposition to this bill. because it restricts the definition of compound drug and inadvertently leaves out a couple of sources where compounded drugs come from. We think that 503A facilities are already included in the definition. However, I think you should explicitly add to the definition of compounding 503A facilities, as well as 503B facilities, which compound in bulk, not just individually. They make them in bulk. So my testimony contains some proposed amendments, and that will be to limit physician dispensing to first 30 days post-injury, and also to require pre-approval for any kind of compounds. Compounds should be used as an exception, and they have become the rule. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Kathy Wilson from Aloha Billing Company in support.
Hi, my name is Kathy Wilson. I'd like to stand my testimony in strong support, and I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. Next, we have Scott Miskovich, Premier Medical Group Hawaii in opposition on Zoom.
Madam President.
Okay. Next, we have Matt Matsunaga, individual in support.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair. I'm Matt Matsunaga. And back in 2014, we revised the reimbursement statute 38621.7. And I assisted in drafting that measure. But since then, things have changed, and this statute needs updating. And I believe this measure is currently drafted, fixes some of the uncertainty and ambiguities because of the new types of compounded drugs that have been manufactured since that date when the statute was codified. But please don't allow poison pill amendments to affect the very intent of this measure, that is to clarify the reimbursement for certain types of compounded prescription drugs. You don't need for example, you don't need the 503B swept up in that definition because some 503Bs, they have their own average wholesale price and NDC. So their reimbursement price is already stated in the Red Book. And I'm happy to answer any questions with respect to the statute. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other person here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, we do have written testimony and support from Hawaii Insurance Council, Work Injury Medical Association of Hawaii, Hawaii Injured Workers Association, Hawaii Injury Recovery Center, Kathy Plack Medical Billing, Hawaii Injury Recovery Center, Marshall Ward Jr., LLC, and two individuals in support. Okay, members, any questions on this measure? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to HB 2323 relating to workers' compensation. First to testify, we have Dr. Butai from DLIR in support.
Joanne Fidenhar standing in strong support of the governor's package for the department. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Next we have Dr. Hashimoto from DHERD in support.
DHERD will stand on its written testimony in support.
Thank you. Any other persons here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, members, we have written testimony in support from Hawaii Insurance Council, UPA, Hawaii Medical Association, American Property Casualty Insurance Association, Aloha Billing Company, Work Injury Medical Association of Hawaii, all in support. Members, any questions? Seeing none, we'll be moving to HB 1825 HD1 relating to Hawaii Teacher Standards Board. First to testify on this measure, we have Dr. Arikawa Cross from the Executive Office on Early Learning in support.
Chair, Senator, Vice Chair, good morning, Jennifer Chow, Board Director, Arikawa Cross, UA stands in support of this measure.
Thank you. Next we have Superintendent Hayashi from the Hawaii State Department of Education in support.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Tammy Chun, Deputy Superintendent. The Department of Education supports this bill. In our testimony, we pointed out some areas where we're requesting amendments, and they are related to subsection B, primarily around the shall to may language, making sure that it continues to be a may, because this is an option for the department to hire emergency hire teachers so the may is more appropriate. And then the other is to remove the requirement for rules. This is already a program that exists, we're just changing, the bill would change the number of years of eligibility. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next we have Mitzi Higa from the Hawaii Teacher Standards Board in opposition.
Thank you, Chair. Speaking on behalf, Mitzi Higa, Licensing Specialist, speaking on behalf of the Hawaii Teacher Standards Board. We just want to point out that our testimony, we're in opposition, that the emergency hire permit was created to be the exception, not the norm. It's 3 years was intentional to make sure that those who pursued emergency hires did pursue a state-approved teacher education program within that time, which is possible because as an emergency hire permit, they have to have a bachelor's, so it would be either a master's or a post-bac, which can take that time. And there's already something in place that if there are extenuating circumstances, through the Hawaii administrative rules, they're allowed to suspend the rules and grant the individual a fourth emergency hire permit if they meet the criteria. But also, we're very concerned. A lot of emergency hire permit people are in special ed positions or elementary, which is the highest number right now. So someone could be, I don't know, fashion design, which we've had a few, and they're teaching elementary. This is a critical time for children to learn reading, writing, arithmetic, and be able to differentiate the learning for them. So we're very concerned about all of this. So anyway, there is a method already in place if there are extenuating circumstances that they can. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have also Tue, President for HSTA in support.
Aloha, Chair and Vice Chair. Sarah Leonta-Laughlin on behalf of OSA Tue and HSTA. We do support this measure, and I have a few more stories that you might not have seen in testimony. We have teachers, excellent teachers at our school who are still struggling to get their licensure, who have been on this emergency hire program. Myself, I was emergency hire in computer science with 11 years experience because there was issues with my paperwork from Texas and my license wasn't automatically given. So I can see people frustrated in this program. I also will say, we've had some teachers share things like maybe you've had a baby in the middle of your program, so you won't be able to finish your program on time. So a little extra time to get licensure would be supportive. Also, especially for Hawaiian immersion positions, teachers have struggled more to get their licensure program finished in that and have less access. So we support this measure and ask you to as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other persons here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, members, we have written testimony in support from the Teachers Lounge, as well as Maui Roots Reborn, and 21 individuals also in support. Members, any questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll be moving on to HB 2172 relating to employment retirements. First to testify, we have Jenny Nakamoto, Deputy Attorney General from the AG's office with comments.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Jenny Nakamoto, Deputy Attorney General. Our department did submit comments, just very briefly, 2 recommendations to delete the 2 new sections, 302A, H, and J. Also to add in prospective language to the definition of employee beneficiary. Also, that same type of language to the HRS Chapter 88 in itself, and also to add in new sections. I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Superintendent Hayashi from the DOE with comments.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Tammy Chun, Deputy Superintendent. The Department of Education provides comments on this bill. We support the intent of the bill, but have concerns about some of the details of how it would be implemented, including the way that it's currently drafted regarding annual certification requirements, potentially having separate salary schedules, for example. So happy to continue working with the legislature on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Calvert Young, Executive Director for the ERS with comments.
Good morning, Chair, members. The ERS doesn't have a position on this bill, but we are offering comments specifically recommending there could be potential, or you should consider amendments on line 20 of page 27 to start just to make it consistent with the other language that's already in existing statutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Melissa Tui, President for HSTA, support.
Hello, Chair. We'll stand on written testimony here for questions.
Thank you. Next we have Randy Perez, Executive Director for HGA with comments.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members. Nui Sabas for HGEA. We'll stand on our comments. We just want to request for some clarification to paragraph J to provide that if there is a new salary schedule, that salary schedule be negotiated pursuant to. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other persons here to testify on this measure? Okay, seeing none, members, we do have an individual in support. Okay, any questions on this measure? Okay, seeing none, we'll be moving on to HB 1888. This is relating to the safety of educational workers. First to testify, we have Ann Horiuchi, Deputy Attorney General from the AG's office with comments.
Good morning, Chair Sayama, Vice Chair Lee, members, Ann Horiuchi from the Attorney General's office. To summarize our testimony, there's a few items. One, the reference to incidents of harassment involving a potential threat of physical harm. To avoid ambiguity and ensure consistency with section 711-1106, we've recommended a clarifying revision to the bill. Also, with regard to the assistance with legal actions by the DOEs or the Charter School Commission's legal advocate, to avoid confusion regarding whether the advocate position constitutes the practice of law, our department recommends removing the word legal from the term legal advocate, and we suggest inserting a new section to the bill to amend HRS 605-14 that's regarding the unauthorized practice of law. Also, the breadth of the term legal actions, that could be interpreted broadly to include representation in civil litigation or other proceedings beyond TRO assistance. So to clarify the scope and align with the recommendations suggested above in our testimony, we've provided another clarifying amendment to the bill. And finally, we noted that the source of harassment isn't specified in the bill. So as written, it could apply to a source of harassment coming from within the department. If this is not the legislature's intent, then we recommend clarifying the source of harassment. Thank you. I'll be available for questions.
Thank you. Next we have Martha Guinan, Chair for the Special Education Advisory Council in opposition on Zoom.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. I'm Susan Rocco. I am staff to the Special Education Advisory Council, and I would like to clarify that we are not opposed to the original language of this bill. We believe that educational workers are entitled to a safe work environment and that the department has obligations to provide that safe environment. What we are strongly opposed to are the amendments that were added after the bill was heard in House Education Committee. And they refer specifically to adding as a form of harassment, disrupting or interfering with the administration or functions of any school administration office, or school board. We find this language loosely defined, and also we strongly believe it does not rise to the level of a misdemeanor, which could include almost a year in jail and a $2,000 fine. Special education families are entitled by IDEA to advocate for their children, and sometimes the situation is heated, but we don't believe in families harassing the department, but we don't believe that arguments rise to this level of punishment. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Superintendent Hayashi from the DOE in support.
Hello, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Shanta Jimo, Assistant Superintendent, Campus Operations and Support, testify on behalf of the Department of Education. The department stands on our written testimony in support of this measure. We stand by for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Lasmin Chain, Executive Director for the Hawaii State Commission on the Status of Women in Support on Zoom.
Good morning, members of the committee. Yasmin Cheney, Commission on the Status of Women. We stand on our written testimony in support of this measure. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have UPW in support.
Chair, UPW stands.
Thank you. Next, we have also Tue President for HSTA in support.
We'll stand on our written testimony here for questions.
Thank you. Next, we have Randy Pura, Executive Director for HGA in support.
HGA will stand.
Thank you. Next, we have Inger Stonehill, individual in support on Zoom.
Yes, hi, can everybody see me? I'm sitting in my car.
Yes.
Hi, okay, thank you. Good morning, Chair and members. So I stand before you today in strong support of this bill. I wanted to say across our state and across our country, workplaces have policies that protect employees from harassment by the public. Hospitals document and address threats against healthcare workers. Police and fire departments have clear reporting systems. The post office, the DMV, the state executive branch, DHRD, the University of Hawaii, and even airlines all have procedures when a member of the public crosses the line from advocacy into harassment. Our Department of Education, as of now, addresses workplace disruption under SOP 0201 as it relates to interrupting work performance. But what we are discussing today goes far beyond interruption. So let me ask, is it okay to physically assault a teacher? Is it okay to threaten a teacher by saying, I know where you live? Is it okay to use gestures or words suggesting harm? Is it okay to drive by an educator's home at 1 a.m.? Is it okay to knock on their door at 3 a.m. and create fear? Is it okay to tell teachers you know where they get their coffee every morning? And is it okay to challenge them to meet outside and handle it? These are not hypotheticals. These are real experiences shared by teachers, administrators, and educational workers in our communities. And these were shared to me. So I do believe parents and community members are absolutely stakeholders, and advocacy for students is important and welcomed. But advocacy does not include intimidation. It does not include threats, and it does not include harassment that follows an educator home. Now, I just wanted to say I looked up other states have been trying to address this issue, from Kentucky, New York, South Carolina, and they all have much of what we have in this bill, except, yes, in this bill, we have asked for
My apologies, Ms.
misdemeanor.
Stonehill, your
Yeah,
2-minute
okay.
time limit is up. If you could please wrap up your
Okay.
testimony.
Okay, so it's just that, you know, this is not just a Hawaii problem, it's a state, it's a country problem, and we just want it to be with clear guidelines, data reporting, and misdemeanor to try to deter community members or parents from going too far. So I urge you to support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Lindsay Chambers, individual in support on Zoom as well.
Good morning, Chair Sayama, Vice Chair Lee, and members of the committee. I stand on my written testimony but would like to provide additional comments. I want to respond to concerns that HB 1888 is impulsive, unnecessary, and harmful to parent advocacy. This is not hasty legislation. This issue has been before this body for years. Educational workers have consistently come forward to describe threats, stalking, and assaults connected to their employment. Progress has followed sustained pressure and documented incidents, not impulse. Nothing in HB 1888 limits a parent's right to advocate for their child. Nothing in this bill overrides the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. It does not criminalize disagreement, mediation, due process complaints, or participation in IEP meetings. The bill addresses harassment. There is a very clear distinction between advocacy and harassment. Advocacy is protected. Threats, intimidation, stalking behavior, and conduct that disrupts school operations and places employees in fear are not protected speech. In most documented cases, the conduct at issue has not involved a single emotional moment. There are individuals who have engaged in repeated patterns of harassment over many years, resulting in multiple TROs followed by DOE employees. When opposition testimony is framed broadly as protecting parents, it can unintentionally shield the repeat perpetrators whose behavior goes far beyond advocacy and has terrorized our educational workers, including myself and my family. Parent partnerships are essential. I'm a parent of a middle schooler. I understand, but so is safety. And as a parent, I would not want my child's educator threatened, harassed, or assaulted in front of her, which has happened to victims both in person and virtual settings. We can protect the rights of families while also establishing firm boundaries against harassment. These goals are not mutually exclusive. I respectfully urge the committee to move HB 1888 forward. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you so much. Are there any other persons here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, members, we do have written testimony in support from 10 individuals and opposition from 1 individual. Okay. Members, any questions? Okay, I do have a question for AG. So I just wanted to clarify that this measure, at least in its amended form, adds an additional provision or definition to harassment, which disrupts or interferes with the administration functions of any school, school administrative office, school board. Can you maybe explain, maybe some of the other activities, behaviors that would qualify for harassment?
You mean under the new?
Or just under existing statute, right? Because there are some, right, I think we were hearing some testimony with concerns about assault, about repeated unsolicited communications, threats. Right. Is that all covered under current statute as harassment?
I will admit, I am from the education division, so the criminal statutes are not in my wheelhouse. So I would say that I think some of the conduct you just mentioned, that does sound like the type of conduct that is already caught up within the current definition of harassment in 711-1106. I heard the testimony about the concern regarding the new subsection G. What I can do is go back and take a look at it to see if maybe that language should be looked at closer, if it might capture some of the advocacy type of activities that there's a concern that's being caught up and not that's being caught up as harassment and it shouldn't be. But as I stand here today, I'm not sure how to characterize if there's any concern with the language as it's been added to the bill.
Thank you. Maybe for Department of Education. So following up on that line of questioning, right, is the department concerned with that additional definition for harassment, right? Disrupts or interferes. Sounds kind of broad. Does the department is okay with that language, or?
We support that language. It is broad and it will be subjective, but we do support that language.
Okay, because to me that disrupting any school function or a classroom, that could be a student being disruptive. That I wouldn't categorize as harassment by any stretch of it.
Correct. I think it's a matter of a threshold and a matter of if there were reminders to discontinue a certain conduct. I don't think there's the department we filed for harassment with, depending on the severity of the behavior. I think we have a pretty high threshold as we've demonstrated throughout the years. And I think this allows us to basically address those issues when it's very repetitive and increasing in severity.
Okay. I just want to note that repeated communication after being advised the communication is unwarranted and unsolicited is already included in harassment. Correct. So I still question whether this additional definition to harassment is necessary. Sorry, Vice Chair, did you have questions for AG's office? Sorry. Representative Raysoda, okay. Any questions for DOE? Okay, if not, thank you. AG's office, Representative Raysoda.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking at the language that was inserted in the Education Committee. It was the one that talked about disruption or interference with schools, school administration office, and it adds in the school board. Do you happen to know if there's any other board in the state or city that has a specific harassment clause carved out for them?
I am not aware. I can go back to my office and find out if there's any other board.
Okay. Would you, and specifically just for adding the school board, do you have any opinions on adding them to this bill too?
I'm sorry.
Do you have any opinions on adding them versus just having the school and the school office, like strictly a local school issue? Does the AG's office think it should also include the school board?
I can't speak on behalf of the office. I will find out if there is a concern or any position at all about adding the Board of Education, or it's having them included in this language.
Okay, thank you.
Members, any further questions? Seeing that, we'll be moving on to HB 2005 relating to language access. First to testify, we have Director Butai from DLIR in support. Not here. Okay. Moving on to Deborah Halbert for University of Hawaii Systems in support.
Good morning, Chair Sayama, Vice Chair Lee, Representative Reyes Oda, Alan Rosenfeld, Associate Vice President for Academic Programs and Policy, here for Vice President Halbert. UH stands on its written testimony in support of the measure, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Mahalo.
Thank you. Next we have Mimi Zuno, Executive Director for Office of Language Access and Support on Zoom.
Chair Sayama, Vice Chair Lee, members of the committee, good morning and Ohayo gozaimasu. My name is Mei Mizuno, Executive Director of the Office of Language Access. OLA stands on our testimony in strong support and will be available to answer any questions. Mahalo.
Thank you. Next we have Lasmin Chain, Executive Director for the Hawaii State Commission of the Status of Women in support on Zoom.
Good morning, members. Yasmin Cheney, Commission on the Status of Women. We stand on our written testimony in strong support of this measure. Thank you so much for having this hearing and giving this opportunity.
Thank you. Next we have Amy Akbayani, President for the Legal Clinic of Hawaii in support on Zoom.
Aloha. Thank you very much, Chair and members, for hearing this bill. I stand in strong support. It's a very, very important and very beneficial bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next we have Paula Arcina, External Affairs VP for Aloha Care and support on Zoom.
Not present.
Not present. Any other persons who to testify on this measure? Okay, seeing none. Members, we do have written testimony in support from the Hawaii State Health Planning Development Agency, Waipahu Safe Haven Immigrant/Migrant Center, Legal Clinic, Pacific Gateway Center, Hawaii Coalition for Immigrant Rights, Maui Roots Reborn, and 12 individuals in support. Members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll be moving on to HB 1872 relating to an early learning apprenticeship grant program. First to testify on this measure, we have Nathan Murata, Dean for the College of Education, University of Hawaii Systems, with comments.
Hi, good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Nathan Murata, Dean, College of Education, UH Manoa. We stand in standby position offering comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Yuko Arikawa Cross, Director for Executive Office on Early Learning and Support.
Good morning, Chair. Jennifer Chow for Dr. Arikawa Cross. UA stands in its written comments supporting this measure.
Thank you. Next we have Lasmin Cheney, Executive Director for the Hawaii State Commission on the Status of Women in support on Zoom.
Good morning again, committee members. Yasmin Cheney, Commission on the Status of Women. We stand on our written testimony in support of this measure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next we have Ed No, Executive Director for the Hawaii State Public Charter School Commission in support.
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Deanne Goya, Early Learning Program Director on behalf of Ed No, State Public Charter School Commission. We stand in strong support of this measure.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Next we have, let's see, Anton Krucky, Director for Department of Community Services, City and County of Honolulu in support.
Hi, Jennifer. On behalf of Director Krucky, we stand on our written testimony in support and happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Next we have Commit to Keiki in support.
Jared, that's for Commit to Keiki, we stand on our written testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Early Childhood Action Strategy in support. Okay. Next we have Sherry Menor, President and CEO for Chamber of Commerce Hawaii in support.
Good morning. We'll stand on our written testimony in support as well.
Thank you. Next we have Hawaii Children Action Network Speaks in support.
Aloha Chair Sayama, Vice Chair Lee, Representative Oda. Thank you for hearing this bill. My name is Malia Suchia. I am representing Hawaii Children's Action Network Speaks in strong support of this bill. I would like to humbly offer a few more comments because I was a preschool teacher, child care provider for about 20 years. And that pathway was very segmented and very challenging. And if I had had this program when I was going through teaching and getting my degree, it would have made such a big difference for myself and my family. This program offers mentoring and coaching as well as financial supports. It allows teachers to gain credits through competencies by doing on-the-job learning, and it also provides a living wage, which is a requirement within this program. So I humbly ask that you pass this bill because we need more teachers. Our childcare workforce is the workforce behind the workforce, and parents need to go to work, working families need our support, but in order to do that, we need teachers. And our teachers need supportive linear pathways, which this grant program provides. So again, we humbly ask on behalf of Hawaii Children's Action Network Speaks to please pass HB 1872 HD1. Mahalo.
Thank you. Any other persons who testify on this measure? Okay, seeing none, members, we do have written testimony and support from the Hawaii State Board of Education, Department of Human Services, Hawaii State Early Learning Board, Excellence and Equity Project, UH Manoa College of Education, Olomo Collaborative, Parents and Children Together, AUW Hawaii, Hawaii Association of Independent Schools, YMCA of Honolulu, Kapolei Chamber of Commerce, and 10 individuals in support. Members, any questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll be moving on to HB 2416 relating to Maritime Youth Apprenticeship Pathways Program. First to testify on this measure, we have Willie Hoko'ana, Interim VP Community Colleges for the University of Hawaii Systems, with comments.
Aloha kako, this is Kahele Duko testifying on behalf of Louis Hoko'ana for the UH system. We stand on our testimony that offers outlining some of the challenges and a few amendments to the bill. Mahalo.
Thank you. Next we have William Hansen, Managing Partner and Principal for the Maritime Group in support on Zoom.
Not present.
Okay. Moving on, we have Tina Yamaki, Managing Director for the Hawaii Transportation Association in support on Zoom.
Not present.
Okay. Next we have Sherry Menor, President and CEO for Chamber of Commerce Hawaii in support.
Stand on the written testimony in support.
Thank you. Any other persons here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, members, we have written testimony in support from the Hawaii Harbors Users Group, Kapolei Chamber of Commerce also in support. Members, any questions on this measure? Seeing none, we have next HB 2291 relating to Hawaii National Guard. First to testify, we have Major General Stephen Logan, Director for HAIMA from the Hawaii State Department of Defense in support.
Good morning, Chair Sayama, Vice Chair Lee, and members of the committee. Brigadier General Retired Neil Matsuyoshi. For General Logan, the department stands on its testimony and support and prepared to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any other persons here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, members, any questions? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to HB 2292 relating to Hawaii Emergency Management Agency. First to testify on this measure, we have, excuse me. James Barros, Administrator for Hawaii Emergency Management Agency, in support.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. On behalf of the Administrator, I'm Jordan with HAIMA. We stand on our written testimony in strong support of this bill. I'll be standing by for any questions.
Thank you. Next, we have Major General Stephen Logan, Director for HAIMA from the DOT, in support.
Good morning again, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Brigadier General Newman Tsuyoshi. The department stands on its testimony and support, and I'd just like to highlight that we really appreciate the work that HGEA has been willing to do with our department to make some amendments, and hopefully those amendments that came out of PBS are amenable to your committee and we can move this bill forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Randy Pereira, Executive Director for HGEA, with comments.
Hello, Chair, Vice Chair, Member. Nui Sebas for HGEA. We'll stand on our comments with amendments. We're happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other persons here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, members, any questions? I do have for HAIMA. So I believe this bill identifies 82 special project positions within HAIMA, and the ask is essentially to convert these to exempt positions, with 30% being converted to civil service in 5 years.
Yes, sure.
Okay. So can you give some context? What these 82 special project positions are, and what, why is it necessary to maintain them?
So a lot of them are in operations or logistics. It's essentially so we can sustain our operations and retain the talent that we have in these temporary positions with the uncertainty with FEMA in the future and the POTUS essentially putting more of the responsibility on the state for disaster and emergency response.
When did the HAIMA gain these 82 temporary positions?
I have to get back to you on that. That's been over the last, I'd say, year or so, maybe a couple of years.
So do you know what the intention was? Like when you received the 82, was it for a specific disaster?
Yes, sir. So like, for instance, Lahaina, a lot of these positions were federally funded, and we had to create them to respond to multiple disasters. And therefore, we're asking that we can retain these for a permanent exempt position.
All right, will the funding continue to come from the federal side, or will that be picked up by the state?
At this time, it's continued to be provided by the Fed, but at some point, I imagine that in the future, we will have to come back to the legislature for some funds.
Okay, thank you. Members, any further questions? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to HB 2263 relating to military families. First to testify on this measure, we have Kelly Mae Douglas from the Pacific Southwest Liaison from the U.S. Department of Defense, in support on Zoom.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair. My name is Kelly Mae Douglas with the U.S. Defense State Liaison Office. We stand on our written testimony in support of the provisions reflected within HB 2263 HB1, which aims to expand Hawaii's family leave law to include qualifying military exigencies. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Next, we have Director Butai from DLIR in support.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and Representative. Cheryl Lee on behalf of Director Butai for the Department of Labor and Industrial Relations. We stand on our written testimony and support, and we'll be here for any questions. Thank you.
Next, we have Lauren McAllister Moore, Executive Director for Military and Community Relations Office for DPED, in support.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Lauren Moore, Executive Director for Macro. We stand on our written testimony. And I just want to highlight that this aligns state law with established federal standards, provides clarity for our employers, and consistency for our employees. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. Next, we have Brigadier General Walter Ross, Jr., Director of the Joint Staff from the Hawaii National Guard, Hawaii DoD, in support.
Hello, Chair, Vice Chair, Rep. Oda. I'm Brigadier General Ross, Director of Joint Staff for Hawaii National Guard, stand in support of this measure. Here for any questions you may have.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello. Any other persons here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll be moving on to HB 2359. This is relating to retirements. First to testify, we have Diana Sumarana, Deputy Attorney General, AG's office with comments. Apologies for that.
It's even better today. Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, Representative, Deputy Attorney General Diana Sumarana. We submitted comments so that the bill can be consistent with the existing statutes. We also know that there are a number of bills with regards to rehiring of retirees, so we want to make sure that they're all consistent as well. Thank you. I'm available for your questions.
Thank you. Next, we have Calvert Young, Executive Director for ERS with comments.
Good morning, Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, member. The ERS doesn't have a position on this bill, but we have offered comments which do include recommendations for amendments starting on page 19 and page 20, just to mirror paragraphs that are already in existing statute as well as in other sections of this bill for consistency. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have, oh no, I'm sorry. Are there any other persons here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, we have one individual with written testimony in support. Members, any questions on this measure? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to HB 2358 relating to retirement. First to testify on this measure, we have Will Kane, Senior Advisor for the Office of Governor in support.
Hello, Chair, Vice Chair Will Kane, Office of the Governor. I stand on written testimony in support. Here for any questions. Mahalo.
Thank you. Next, we have Calvert Young, Executive Director for ERS in opposition.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, member. So the Board of Trustees for the Employee Retirement System has not reviewed or taken a position on this bill. However, given what the measure proposed, ERS administration strongly believes that the board would oppose this measure. So administration is taking a position to respectfully oppose this measure. The reason for the opposition is quite significant, as this measure could pose a serious threat to the current tax qualified status for the employee retirement system. Nullifying that tax qualified status would be fatal to the existing system, employees, retirees, and employers that participate in the pension system. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other persons here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, we do have individual who has submitted written testimony in support. Members, any questions? I have a question for Will Kane from the Office of Governor. So in your testimony, you had suggested to insert language relating to DLE. Is that correct?
That's correct, and I apologize I didn't mention that when I came up earlier. Yes, so so we know the bill does what it does right here, and I think maybe the previous testifier were referring to that one, but we think we should also include amendments to include administrators and employee of the Department of Law Enforcement as Class 8 members of the ERS. So trying to add definitions for, and I won't go through every piece of our testimony here, but add definitions for several positions within there, and reclassifying some of these folks here, as well as including some of the investigator, chief investigator, special investigator in the enhanced retirement allowance provisions, and establish retirement benefit computations for the director of DLE and the deputy director. So I think what has been put out there previously from DLE and those folks is that right now with retirement benefits and the way these are structured, there's a disparity between the state DLE and the county. And so what we're trying to do is kind of get there where we can be competitive. So we, I don't know, and I'll defer to the director, I don't think he's here, but the pay may not be specific, like, you know, one-to-one, so we may be a little off on that one, and we'll continue to work on that. But the retirement benefits, if a law enforcement officer comes from the county and wants to join the DLE, they may end up taking a significant hit on the retirement, and I think that's going to preclude us from not only recruiting, but retaining some of our officers and growing that workforce. So we offer these amendments for your consideration.
Thank you. Members, any further questions? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to the next bill, HB 2455, relating to employment practices. First to testify, we have Superintendent Hayashi from the Hawaii State Department of Education in support.
Department stands on its written testimony in support.
Thank you. Next, we have Yasmin Cheney, Executive Director for the Hawaii State Commission on the Status of Women in support on Zoom.
Good morning, committee members. Yasmin Cheney, Commission on the Status of Women. We stand on our written testimony in support of this measure and appreciate the committee's support for victims of workplace violence. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have UPW in support.
Chair, you do, written testimony.
Thank you. Next, we have also Tue, President for HST in support.
Hello, Chair, Vice Chair. We'll stand on our written testimony and bill questions.
Thank you. Any other persons here to testify on this measure? Seeing none, we do have written testimony in support from the Hawaii Women Lawyers, comments from UPA, support from the Hawaii State Democratic Women's Caucus, and 2 individuals in support with 1 individual with comments. Okay, members, any questions on this measure? Okay, seeing none, we'll be taking a short recess. reconvening this House Committee on Labor for decision-making on this agenda. First, we have HB 1509 relating to workers' compensation. For this measure, we'll be passing it forward with amendments, adopting DLIR suggested amendments to strike, in addition, quote, in addition to any other applicable fees, end quote, on page 2, lines 2 to 3. Adopting DLIR suggested amendments to add a new subsection D to provide DLIR with discretion to determine if the employer has good cause for delaying decision of the treatment plan. Also add language to clarify subsection D. An employer shall transmit its approval or denial by mail or secure electronic means. We'll incorporate language from section 2 of HB 2323 into this measure, adding technical amendments needed for clarity, consistency, and style, adding a effective date of July 1st, 3000. Members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll vote on this. Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 1509, recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair vote aye. Representative Garrett? Aye. Representative Capella?
Aye.
Representative Kong?
Aye.
Representative Reyes-Oda?
Aye.
Thank you, Chair. Recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Moving on to HB 1514. This is relating to workers' compensation as well. We'll adopt DLR suggested amendments for page 4, lines 18, inserting the language, quote, or after the employee self-refers, end quote. We'll strike the sentences from page 5, lines 3 to 5, beginning with, quote, the injured employee, end quote, and ending with, we'll strike the sentences from page 5, lines 3 to 5, beginning with the words, the injured employee, and ending with rehabilitation services. We'll clarify it will be the director, not the employer, that will be selecting the certified provider for rehab services. We'll insert language from section 3 of HB 2323 to replace language on page 11, lines 2 of HB 1514. We'll make technical amendments needed for clarity, consistency, and style, and add an effective date of July 1st, 3000. Members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 1514, recommendation is to pass with amendments. Any no votes? Reservations? Chair, recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Next, for HB 1515 relating to workers' compensation, we'll just be adding an effective date of July 1st, 3000. Members, any questions or comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote. With this amendments.
Voting on House Bill 1515, recommendation is to pass with amendments. Any no votes? Reservations? Recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Next, we have HB 1648 relating to workers' compensation. We'll be adopting DHER's suggested amendments to page 2, lines 1 and 2, deleting the word prescribe or, and add, quote, or any non-FDA approved drugs that have not undergone the FDA's formal review for safety, effectiveness, or quality, end quote. We'll also be adding a effective date of July 1st, 3000. Members, any comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 1648, recommendation is to pass with amendments. Any no votes? Reservations? Recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Moving on to HB 2164 relating to workers' compensation. We'll be passing this with amendments, deleting the phrase or a licensed physician from page 2, line 15, adding technical amendments needed for clarity, consistency, and style, and defecting the date of July 1st, 3000. Members, any comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 2164, recommendation is to pass with amendments. No votes? Reservations? Recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Next, we have HB 2323 relating to workers' compensation law. We'll be passing this with amendments, removing section 2 as it will be incorporated into HB 1509. We'll remove section 3 because it will be incorporated into HB 1514. And we'll be fixing existing statutory language on page 5, line 3, making technical amendments needed for clarity, consistency, and style, adding a effective date of July 1st, 3000. Members, any comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 2323, recommendation is to pass with amendments. No votes? Reservations? Thank you, Chair. Recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Moving on to HB 1825 HD1 relating to Hawaii Teacher Standards Board. We'll be passing this measure forward with amendments, adopting DOE suggested amendments to revert language to may from shall, adopt DOE suggested amendments to strike language from page 5, lines 15 to 17 regarding adoption rules. We'll be adding technical amendments needed for clarity, consistency, and style. Members, any comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 1825 HD1. Recommendations to pass with amendments. Are there any no votes? Reservations? Thank you, Chair. Recommendations been adopted.
Thank you. Next, we have HB 2172 HD1 relating to employment retirements. We'll pass this measure with amendments adopting AG suggested amendments to delete the new section of HRS 302A-H on page 5, lines 14 to 17. We'll delete new sections 302A-J on page 6, lines 5 to 10. We'll amend the definition of employee beneficiary in section 5 on page 25, lines 5 to 7 to read, quote, employee beneficiary does not include any retirant employed under section 302A-blank during the retirant's employment under that section or employee beneficiaries hired after June 30th, 2026, end quote. We'll insert language beginning on page 28, line 1, to read as, quote, this act does not affect rights and duties that matured, penalties that were incurred, and proceedings that were begun before its effective date, end quote. We'll adopt ERS suggested amendments on page 27, lines 20 to mirror paragraphs 4 and 5, adding technical amendments needed for clarity, consistency, and style. Members, any comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 2172 HD1. Recommendations to pass with amendments. No votes? Reservations? Thank you, Chair. Recommendations been adopted.
Thank you. Moving on to HB 1888 HD1 relating to safety of educational workers. We'll be passing this measure with amendments, adopting AG suggested amendments for page 6, lines 12 to 18 to avoid ambiguity and ensure consistency. We'll adopt AG suggested amendments adding a new section of the bill to amend HRS 605-14 and clarify an advocate employed by the DOE or Commission is not engaging in the unauthorized practice of law. Also adopting AG amendments for page 4, lines 6 to 13, and on page 7, lines 14 to 21 to clarify the scope of legal action. We'll be sharing, like I mentioned during the line of questioning, I do share the concerns brought forth by the testimony from the Special Education Advisory Council regarding the definition for harassment. It is with that rationale that I'm going to recommend striking subsection G from page 11, lines 4 to 6, that expands the definition of harassment to include disruption and interference with administration or functions of any school. I'll be adopting DOE suggested amendments, adding language to clarify that paid leave in subsection C on page 2 may be satisfied through the use of accrued sick leave, vacation leave, admin leave, or any other paid leave authorized by the employer, and shall not require additional pay leave beyond existing leave benefits. We'll also amend the bill to include reference to charter schools where the DOE is mentioned to ensure consistency with the definition of educational workers, adding technical amendments needed for clarity, consistency, and style. And again, I'd just like to reiterate, under the current definition of harassment under current HRS law, it does include some of, if all, the behaviors that testifiers were concerned with regarding assault, abuse, harassment, verbal harassment. So I think that, again, expanding the definition isn't necessary. So that's why, again, I will stick with these recommendations. Members, any comments? Representative Rezola.
I'm still concerned about adding school board to the list of protected areas. And the only reason is because it would be the only state board or county board that has rules assigned to it, and it may set the precedence for that. I prefer that there would be a law specifically addressing all boards.
Okay. Thank you. I recognize that this is a bill in still going through the process, so hopefully the next committee on JHA could take a look at that concern. Members, any further comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 1888 HD1, recommendation is to pass with amendments. Are there any no votes? Reservations? Thank you, Chair. Recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Next, we have HB 2005 for HD1 relating to language access. Recommendation is to pass this measure with amendments to make the bill consistent with the intent to establish a permanent program. This committee will codify the language in Chapter 304A in HRS and make technical amendments needed for clarity, consistency, and style. Members, any comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 2005 HD1, recommendation is to pass with amendments. No votes? Reservations? Thank you, Chair. Recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Next, we have HB 1872 HD1 relating to an early learning apprenticeship grant program. I will be passing this measure forward as is. Members, any comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on HB 1872 HD1, recommendation is to pass as is. Any no votes? Reservations? Thank you, Chair. Recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Next, we have HB 2416 HD1 relating to Maritime Youth Apprenticeship Pathway Program. Recommendation is to pass this measure forward as is. Members, any comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 2416 HD1, recommendation is to pass as is. Any no votes? Reservations? Thank you, Chair. Recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Next, we have HB 2291 HD1 relating to the Hawaii National Guard. Recommendation is to pass this measure forward as is. Members, any comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 2291 HD1, recommendation is to pass as is. No votes? Reservations? Thank you, Chair. Recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Next, we have HB 2292 HD1 relating to the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency. Recommendation is to pass this measure forward with amendments. We'll be adopting HGA suggested amendments to include the phrase at least before the 30% language, and include language to ensure an incumbent employee's position is protected. It will add language to clarify the 30% transition requirement applies specifically to the 82 special project positions identified in this bill. We'll amend language on page 20, lines 7 to 9 to clarify the transition to civil service be completed by July 1st, 2031. Also noting technical amendments needed for clarity, consistency, and style. I would also like to note that transitioning these 82 special project positions that were temporary to permanent positions is a little concerning, and I would encourage HIEMA and HGA and other stakeholders to continue to work on this measure to make sure that it is fully incorporated into civil service. But with that, I'm going to move this forward with the noted amendments. Members, any comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 2292 HD1, recommendation is to pass with amendments. Are there any no votes? Reservations? Thank you, Chair. Recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Moving on to HB 2263 HD1 relating to military families. Recommendation is to pass this measure forward as is. Members, any comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 2263 HD1, recommendation is to pass as is. No votes? Reservations? Thank you, Chair. Recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Moving on to HB 2359 relating to retirements. Recommendation is to pass this with amendments. First, striking subsection H on page 20 in line 16 to avoid conflicting with existing collective bargaining processes. We'll be adding AG suggested amendments on page 15, lines 15 through 17 to clarify the definition of employee beneficiary. We'll adopt ERS amendments to make conforming amendments to page 19, line 17 to page 20, line 6. Making technical amendments needed for clarity, consistency, and style, and adding the effective date of July 1st, 3000. Members, any comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 2359. Recommendation is to pass with amendments. Are there any no votes? Reservations? Thank you, Chair. Recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Moving on to HB 2358 relating to retirement. Members, I'd like to defer decision-making on this measure to This week, Thursday, that would be February 19th, 2026 to the 9:30 a.m. hearing that we have posted. Just wanted to take into consideration the proposed amendments offered by the Office of Governor and concerns from the ERS. Members, any comments? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to HB 2455 relating to employment practices. We'll be passing this measure forward with amendments adopting UPA's suggestion to add language requiring the leave be satisfied through administrative leave, adding technical amendments needed for clarity, consistency, and style, as well as adding an effective date of July 1st, 3000. Members, any comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on House Bill 2455, recommendations to pass with amendments. Are there any no votes? Reservations? Thank you, Chair. Recommendations been adopted.
Thank you, members. This hearing is adjourned.